and the coaches included, man, take a minute and enjoy the win. And there's nothing quite like a locker room after that. It had been a while. But today, that's when you get back to it, and that's why we have our Truth Day, what we can do better and what we need to do better, and there's a lot that we need to do better. There was flashes, but that consistency continues to haunt us. There were some big plays. The complimentary football at the end of the half was probably my favorite part of the game. Punt return, stop, interception, like those were ones that I thought were really cool spots. But penalties and turnover margin and other things, we definitely got to improve, and that's a big part of finishing. And, with the division at hand of the games that we're having in the next three, that's a big deal for us. And we're really pumped to go after it and again this week. Then the last thing I hit you on will be regarding Jaden, and we're going to sit him for the final 3 games. And I know your first question likely is, well, DQ, what went into that? And the answer is it was a lot, and part medical and part team. As of today, he still wasn't all the way cleared to play. So like last week, wouldn't have all the results until the end of the week, and then a short week next week with the Christmas game. So we believe this decision allows him to take advantage of the next few weeks in a different play. He wants to practice, and he will practice. He also wants to support Marcus in a way that Marcus has demonstrated and helped him. And so, I thought that was significant. We all know the best way to grow is during the games, but with that, not being the best way for us, there's plenty of ways for him to learn, over the next 3 weeks. And, he's going to learn from this vantage point too. So I just wanted to give you all the info that I had, and then we can get started recapping the game or however you guys want to proceed. So let's get it rocking.
John Keim?
How disappointing, Dan, is it that it's come to this, given what you guys have all talked about, the importance of those game snaps?
Yeah, I get it, John, and that was the plan for sure with 5 games, and in football and life, you adjust, and this is the best plan for him and for the team right now. And so that's what, we're always going to look into it and have lots of discussions about it, but we decided this was the best way for us over the next 3 games, knowing that he wasn't fully cleared to get back just yet.
And then if you can sum up his season, and also how much does it weigh in there that he had left each of the last 3 games he played with some sort of injury? Does that factor into it, and all that?
Yeah, we discussed all that, but that didn't factor it into it, John. One didn't relate to the other, and so it was disappointing. And hey, let's be honest, it's been hard, in a lot of ways. So we're just trying to make the best decisions we can, but it wasn't, a factor from previous. It was just a matter of, hey, not cleared to do it, and we're gonna make the best decisions for the team and for him. That's a number one.
Nikki?
Dan, when did Jayden get informed of this? When did you guys tell him the decision?
Just this afternoon.
Okay.
So I had a chance to visit with him. Adam did as well. And so, it was important. We want to be communicative with all the guys, and, especially their spot, and Marcus as well. And Marcus will do a great job. And I thought for him also being able to prepare and get all the reps in and out, that can be a difficult process to go through as well. So we wanted to give him the best runway to go do his thing as well.
And I know earlier in the season you had said that the reps were important. Was that a matter of circumstance, like in Madrid when there were, 6 games left versus 3? Or was it, just looking at the totality of everything that has happened?
Yeah, and it wasn't even going to be 3, so thinking it wasn't going to be cleared up for this game and then a short week to go. So then we're now we're coming back into less than that. So you're right, Nikki, all of that went into the process to go do it.
Tom?
Hey, Dan. To what extent, if any extent, was Josh involved in this decision?
Yeah, Adam and I obviously keep him in the loop on all the things that are going through it. So it's good. We continue to have dialogue with him. We meet on a regular basis before the games, Fridays, Mondays. So we have a constant dialogue, Tom. So that's helpful that it's not something that we have to go to on a big moment or anything. We just try to stay in a constant level of communication, and that has been really solid for us.
So just to clarify, this was a decision that you guys made and then notified him of, or am I correct on that?
Yeah, I guess that would be correct in the way that you'd say it. We talked and have discussions. I don't know if we notified him, but maybe a discussion's a better way to phrase that.
David Aldridge?
We certainly don't have that kind of juice to notify the owner. Yeah, I better clarify that.
Dan, again, knowing that you still have 3 games left to play in the season, this season has been so odd with everything that's gone down with the injuries and everything. But do you have a sense of, here's going forward, how we can maximize both Jaden's potential and his availability? Like like you have more information now than you did a year ago.
Yes.
And what's different now going forward, I guess I would say.
Yeah, and going in, some of that is going to be by design him too, and that's why we were hopeful for the reps DA, right. And we thought, okay, here's a shot to go find those specific things for him, and it's mostly on dropbacks, honestly, DA, to say, when do I remain a passer, when do I eyes downfield, and so not having to do those in the game reps isn't ideal, but we're going to try to find the best way possible, and I'm hopeful that in a year from now, when you say, what'd you learn, when you're talking to Jayden, and maybe this vantage point even over a couple of weeks when he's, disappointed he's not playing and wanting to be, that we gain some experience and maybe a vision that you wouldn't have normally had, DA. And that's what I'm hopeful that will get done. And then as it gets into the off season and the training, obviously that's going to be a big part of what we're doing, knowing how important he is. And so he knows that. He's not happy that, he's going to be out, but that's where we're at, as we're going through it right now. But there's a lot to still learn, and we're going to push that hard.
I know it seems like when you think about last year, at least a lot of people seem to think it was just a bunch of incredible plays that he made, but there was a lot of complementary football going on last season that allowed him to make those plays. And I just wonder, how important going forward is that to improve the defense to the point where they're creating more turnovers and getting shorter fields for him and more opportunities for him to make plays on shorter, quicker drives and easier drives and stuff like that. Yeah,
you're right. And you may have heard me say it. I remember from last season, I said the best part of our team is the team. It's covering a kick, it's field position, it's creating a takeaway, it's converting a 4th down. And so having the complementary football to do that, that's a big deal. And when you can nail those, we have more continuity, certainly offensively. We perform better on the fourths. But you're right, man. You create a short field, you get one to go. And so that's why I felt yesterday strongly about the half. It was a fantastic return by Jayden, and then a stop and a pick. And it's that's the switch, man. You've seen it. We all have. And that's that momentum change that just takes place in these smallest moments. And I felt that yesterday. I felt that energy. We did enough to let them back in when you have to score lead. But that's what I'm referring to, and that's what you're referring to as well. And so that's capturing the complementary way that you were describing, and I couldn't agree more.
Hashan?
DQ, as part of this, obviously, barring injury, Marcus will start, the rest of the season. I know obviously he's set to be a free agent, going into the offseason. How important are these last few games for him, kind of as he's, making a pitch for potentially getting brought back here?
Yeah, he's an impactful guy here, Deshaun, and for a lot of reasons, but also it's the play on the field. And having him, the full, 3 games to go take all the reps and do the preparation to go, that's a big deal. And so we wanted to give him that opportunity as well to make sure he had the timing, the execution, the practice reps. Sometimes when you're the backup, not getting the game reps with the guys that are in during the week, that can change it. So yeah, that was part of the goal for sure, Tashawn.
JP?
Hey Dan, I know you said you guys informed Jayden of the decision earlier. What was his reaction?
I would say disappointed, but understood as well. This guy's a competitor, JP. That's what always stands out about him. I think the fact that wanted no part of IR to practice, be there with the guys doing that. I think that speaks of the teammate and why. And so that was important to him, to show that support and wanting to do it as well. So that told us a lot, also about it, because it would have been the easy way to say whatever, and like that's not how he is at all. So I like the fact that he's competitive. I like the fact that he wants this time, and so that's an important piece to it.
And how difficult has balancing all of this, Jaden's desire and toughness, the big picture, kind of a lost season, like how difficult has all of those factors been in landing in these decisions?
Yeah, it's hard. It's nice to have a partner with Adam to talk through, because there's a lot that, just consumes your mind day and night, and the topics and what's gone well, what hasn't gone well. And so you just try to talk it through, man. And so having somebody to discuss with, go through options with, and then ultimately make the best decisions for the team. They're hard, but it's, like I said, much better to have somebody to talk it through with JP and talk about the pros and the cons. And we thought we had a good plan, for the next 5, and just, what the saying go, like, man plans and God laughs. It was you adjust, and that's what you do. And so that's in a game. That's in when injuries take place, and so you go a good plan, and then you have a way to adjust it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Scott?
Hey, Dan. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people out there that feel like, how can Jayden get better by not playing in these last 3 games? Or how can he get better, by not, having these live game reps? You say what to that?
Yeah, I said, well, he's got to be cleared first. And so it'd be unlikely for this one, and then a short week coming up. So it's hard, Scott, to do that. Like, I would agree, like the best place to do it is in a game to grow. It's the very best. But that doesn't mean you can't squeeze every ounce of energy into the practice and working through some of the specific things that we want to do. And so that's what I would say. Like, we're always going to make the best decisions for, the team and the player. But it doesn't mean we, can't take advantage of this time. And like I said, I hope when you talk to him in a year from now, and say, man, that gave me a different vantage point, and I want him to gain something from this time, and that's what we hope to accomplish from that.
He's not medically cleared for physical contact yet, but I'm just curious,
Correct.
If you guys were 10-4 and not 4-10, would the situation be different? Would he be playing these final games?
Yeah, we're not, so we didn't have that, discussion.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Howard?
And Dan, excuse me, what would you point to as the areas of biggest room for Jayden to learn at this point?
Yeah, I think the number one one is Howard, is like that competitive spot for him, and also like those decisions to, protect the team, to know when to get down, when to slide, when to throw it out of bounds. And so most of those, Howard, come on a drop back pass where you're outside the pocket. And it's typical for a lot of quarterbacks, who are outside the pocket. What do you do? It's scrambles. Like, it's part of what we track, every week defensively. Scramble to run, to throw, where the sack's coming from. And so that's it, Howard, to find as many outside the pocket plays. Not a design bootleg or a keeper to go outside, but typically on the dropbacks that a person gets outside the pocket. So that would be at the top of it.
And just to confirm, nothing has changed, or has, I guess I'll ask it the other way.
Okay.
Has anything changed medically with regard to the elbow in terms of, last week you had said there was no sort of structural problems, it was just a re-aggravation, I think was the word you had used. Is that still the case?
It is, and it's about in the same spot, and so that's why he hasn't been cleared, to go back to it. And we also want those reps, if he was, to be where he could fully express himself and play in his own, style that he does things. So when he's not, that affected a lot of the decisions too, Howard. So we're going to do our best to simulate as much as we can in practice, and just try to do the best that we can with that spot. But, yeah, he's in the same space medically. We're not cleared to go back. But structurally, there hasn't been any setbacks.
All right, we get
You're welcome.
time for 2 more. Let's go Candy and Ben.
Hey there, Coach. With so much movement on the offensive side of the ball due to injuries, what have your conversations been like with Cliff Kingsbury? How have you all worked through this?
Yeah, we early in the week, that's when we discuss, okay, what would the plan look like, who would be in, these are the available receivers or tight ends. And so we start from there, Candy, of trying to be like, what would that initial 48 look like? Okay. And then once you have that plan, it's kind of easier to begin of what and who and how to game plan. And so that was, for instance, this week having some guys back and then also having Zach out. And so how does that balance into it? So if you can start at the beginning of the week, then you can adjust to say, this is who we'll feature, this is how we'll go. In the training camp, it's pretty vanilla, where you're at. And then once the season begins, how we put people in different spots. So we start at the beginning of the week, and then we work from there. And then it's been good to have some other guys work in that hadn't been a part of it. And, guys like Burks, who's, okay, there's something here that we want to continue to develop. And we still dig in on guys like that, too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dan, just for some other injuries, any update on Laramie Tunsil? And with this decision to sit Jayden, does that possibly change how you might handle other players in terms of where they're at playing these last few games? No.
Ben, just from the medical standpoint first, we'll let that drive it first, Ben. But let's get to Laramie first. As an oblique injury, and we'll have to see what the strength looks like for him, the movement, the strength over the next couple days. And if he's able to, then he will play.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks, Charlie. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you tomorrow.